LinkedIn presents.
Welcome to the Forbes Books Podcast, where we inspire you to achieve your dreams by sharing the stories of successful leaders and visionaries. Hola, I'm Joe Pardavila, and my guest today is a renowned expert in the field of international taxation laws, Divakar Vijayasarathy. As the founder and managing partner of DVS Advisors, he has been responsible for strategy and growth initiatives at the company globally. With over 15 books published, countless speaking engagements, and serving on various study groups, he has established himself as an expert on the subject. Diva firmly believes that thought, knowledge, and wisdom are the ultimate assets worth acquiring. Diva, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, brother. Thank you. Can't be better. How are you?
Man, I don't know if I'm as good as you, Diva. You're doing pretty well. But the one thing I've heard about you, sir, is that you're a recovering banker. You used to be a banker.
Used to be a banker, yes.
Yeah, and so you've recovered. Have you fully recovered from being a banker?
No, I mean, recovering, I said I'm recovering from my past of being a banker.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing recovery in banks. I was into lending.
Right. So what made you transition from banking to entrepreneurship?
The need for freedom and independence. And also clarity over why I was doing what I was doing.
Interesting. And what was it that you saw? You know, the American adage, grass is greener on the other side. What was that green grass that you saw on the other side from when you stepped away from banking?
I mean, see, money was never the driver. First, I was earning really well. I was heading 2 regions for Citibank in India. So obviously, you know how that would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I found myself constricted at where I was. And I just couldn't let my mind be independent. And that's something worse than death for me.
Wow. And I'm just curious because I'm not familiar with your culture. You're originally from
India.
What was the reaction from your family and friends? And you're saying, "Hey, I'm walking away from this very successful career." I can't imagine here in the States. I'm sure my family would be going crazy. What was it like in India? What were they like? Diva, have you lost your brain?
Oh, absolutely. Because yes, I left my job when my family was recovering from a catastrophe. My dad had just passed the earlier year.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And my mom wanted me to get married, and I was put up for sale in the marriage market.
Oh, geez.
And you can imagine, back in India, I come from a community called Brahmins. So who are considered to be very good in education, and they are never entrepreneurs.
Oh.
They go work for, they are the number 2s in the biggest organizations.
Yeah, middle management. Yeah.
And they get to the top, but they don't own the business. They're not risk takers.
Yeah.
So when I said I would quit, the whole world laughed at me. They said something wrong with this guy or whatever. Maybe his dad is not there. He's being misguided blah, 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 all those things. But that actually motivates, right? When people put you down, especially collectively, I think the drive to succeed is even more higher.
Interesting. So you have this epiphany where you feel like you need to walk away from banking.
From employment, I would say.
From employment, yeah. What was the first steps you took? Did you exactly know what you wanted? Because you mentioned you were looking for fulfillment, you were looking for more. But did you know what that thing would be to bring you that fulfillment?
I didn't know. Even until about 2.5 years back, I didn't have that answer.
Wow.
I took a year's break in 2021, 22. I traveled around the world. I moved my family from India in the midst of COVID. We all had COVID. My CFO had just passed away. And very, very difficult loss. Wow. I lost a very good friend of mine. There was a lot of negativity.
Wow.
At that time, the international skies were shut. We had a short window when it just reopened. I took my entire family and we went to Serbia.
Wait, what? Serbia?
Serbia. It's a country I haven't even seen on the world map.
Yeah.
Because Serbia and Armenia were the only 2 countries which would accept Indians to leave and land on their soil amidst that time, because Dubai was shut.
Unbelievable.
So we spent about 25-30 days in Serbia and then had a lovely time. Then we got a visa. As a family, we were living out of 10 suitcases for a year.
Wow.
Because imagine, we had a home, we left that home in 3 days' time. We moved the furniture to a rented home. All this happened in 2 days' time. We had to surrender the rental contracts. Crap. But thanks, I've got a lovely family who just come along with me. And then I left my family there. I came to the States. I was here for about a couple of months. Only reflection time. Even now, I'm on a reflection journey. I'm here for 6 weeks. The deep question was, I was finishing 15 years in business in 2022 March. I did a lot of crazy stuff. Started so many businesses, lost money, close to bankruptcy 3 times. The question was why I was doing what I was doing. Right? And actually wrote a book on that just for my grandkids. I feel I was getting some signs of direction. In this trip, I've got the answer.
And what was the answer?
I really feel the world is fragmented beyond belief. I believe tax can be a great unifier. Because that's all I've learned. Because I come from a family of artists. And we are always used to connecting the dots. When you draw, my granddad was an artist. He was an acclaimed cartoonist. My dad was an artist. And I've learned under him for 15 years. And I seriously believe that if utilized well, tax could be the single most integrator on this planet. And I want to see if I can make that happen in my generation.
Wow. Well, let's unpeel that a little bit, because you're the founder of DVS Advisors. Talk to me about this, the impact of taxes and how that can change the game. Walk me through what you guys do there.
No, I mean, more than what we do, it's about how we look at it. I think that would be more interesting. So you tell me, Joey, why do governments collect taxes?
To fuel their entities, to pay for
bureaucracy.
Yeah, sure.
Correct. To fund, you need resources to fund.
Right.
Then tell me, there's a lot of noise in America about the rich not paying taxes, the common man. So
I've heard of that. Yeah,
you've heard. I mean, I'm sure. There are very high decibel noises being made. So, what is the other role of the government? If they have to take it from here and give it here. It's your typical Robin Hood story, right?
Yes.
What we call as redistribution of income.
Yes.
But what's surprising, people only look at tax as resource mobilization and redistribution. Nearly 90% of your tax code doesn't talk about this. If I were to convert this backyard of the building, which let's say is a dump yard, into a community park, or let's say a hospitality region, and I want people to come and build hotels there, what would I do? You were the government, what would you do?
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Just say, I'll give you tax break if you build a hotel here.
Okay.
The entire humanity would be rushing to build their hotels. You would see a hotel property here in the next couple of years. That's why governments use taxes. I'll give you an example, a real life example.
Okay.
When I was studying the Islamic empires, there's a story behind this. I'll get to the story behind, but I'll at least tell you this now. They levied this tax called jizya. This was a tax levied on those who did not practice Islam as a religion. But if you send people from your household to the army, this tax was waived. So the tax there was not used to collect money. It was used to
get someone in the army.
Get someone for the army, right? They were trying to align public behavior. That is the single most potent purpose of taxation, aligning public behavior. And 90% of your US tax code is towards that. And when you look at alignment, when you get deeper into alignment, we call it the 3 Ps: priority, paranoia, and prohibition. Priority is what the government wants you to do. So if you do what the government wants you to do, you get rewarded, you don't get penalized. So if the government wants you to give employment, you give 10 jobs, you have job credits here.
Right.
Paranoia is where the government is scared that it could affect the national security or something of strategic importance. Like in the US, if you see semiconductor industry, you're scared that if China is going to take over Taiwan, I mean, computers or iPhones can't be produced.
Yeah.
So there are huge tax breaks given for semiconductors being manufactured in your country.
Right.
And prohibition are all your sin goods, like your tobacco, liquor, marijuana. These guys will be taxed heavily, but they will always be protected heavily. So we looked at alignment. If you align your business with government's priorities or paranoia, tax is not something you need to worry about. It's something you should feel happy about, because you're only going to gain from the regulator. You're not going to pay to the regulator.
Wow. So you are trying to change mindsets.
Of course.
How do you do that? That sounds hard.
I mean, which is why I'm here where I am.
But so what are the first steps in doing that? Because what you're trying to do is almost change the nature of the way we feel about taxes.
Exactly. See, I'll give you a real life example without taking names. This was a client of ours from the Bay Area. He reached out to me and asked me, Divakar, now how do I'm going to move my development center back to India. Tell me what is going to be my cost benefits. I might move to India or Philippines or Vietnam, wherever. So we said, Joe, you're not going to move your back office. You're giving jobs there. You're earning foreign currency there. Jobs are a matter of priority for the country. Forex is a matter of paranoia for the country because we import in dollars. You don't see what you're going to reduce. Ask what you're going to get for giving this to that country. You won't believe what happened. He got land subsidized. He got a forex credit, which was a cash payback from the government. He had a 10-year tax holiday. He had import duties waived on all his goods. This is because he asked what he would get because he was aligning his business with what the government wanted him to do.
Interesting.
Just look at it. I mean, it's a complete different dimension of existence, right?
Wow.
And it's just integration, brother, nothing else.
How it seems like it took a while, like you almost had some sort of like hero's journey for you to come to this realization. When did you realize you got it? Like, the Oprah aha moment was like, you've almost like untapped some sort of well that was now spewing water. Was there a one moment that happened?
I would say this happened about 2008-9.
Okay.
We got a contract from an African company to work for them, to structure a transaction. It was a fairly large contract, and I was just married, and our first kid was my wife was carrying. We were expecting a first kid. And then this contract would have changed the way we existed. Primarily not only for the commercial reasons, but also it would have put us on the landscape that yes, we are there kinds. We did everything. We raised the first invoice. The client says there's going to be a 30% withholding tax. I mean, I thought like, okay, as a tax guy, I should have seen that coming. I mean, okay, withholding tax flat to 30%.
Yeah.
Second, he says that the country there, because normally what happens when you get a withholding certificate, I had to pay a 40% tax in India. I could offset this 30 with 40 and then pay only 10% on the difference.
Okay.
But he said, I can't give you a tax certificate because the West African Tax Authority, they don't have this policy of issue a tax certificate.
Oh, jeez.
That was a 70% tax cost. Wow. Third, it didn't end. The misery didn't end. He said, I can't pay you in dollars now because I don't have enough foreign exchange. Oh. It would take my central bank to approve the transaction at least 90 days.
Oh, boy.
So it's like you're getting a 70% tax hit and your money is going to come back after,
3 months, yeah.
I actually felt cheated by tax laws. I mean, from being at the peak of my, you thought you have arrived in life to being where you were. But then I also, being the entrepreneur in you, there has to be a better way. And that took me through the journey of understanding the why of taxation. I think it was in 2012 when I finally got the first semblance of the answer. And it got fructified in 2019. It was a journey.
Wow.
It was a
so from 2008 to almost 11 years.
11 years to really understand. Wow. Even to codify what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right? That took that. And that 1 year break really helped in life.
Yeah. And so everything you learned in 11 years, now you're trying to boil down into basically, in essence, what you're doing.
Correct. The journey started in 2004 when I started to teach tax.
Okay.
So I've been teaching. I've taught more than 15,000 students in India. It was all pro bono. Negligible, you could say.
Yeah.
I've written a dozen plus books on the subject. But it was entirely about saying the what of tax, how it needs to be. But the why was always missing.
Wow.
And this was life was never the same. You just felt like you were out of
the darkness,
bottle, right?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Exactly, out of darkness. And it's been a bliss from there on.
Wow. Unbelievable. What a great story. And I'm just curious, what does your family think of you now? Do they still think Diva lost his brain, or do they feel like, oh, okay, I guess he made the right choice?
My family looks at me like my daughter calls me Zen. She says like, try to be human at times. So I don't have too many friends. My friends are the authors. I spend a lot of time with. It just gives me joy reading and
awesome.
understanding the journeys of people. Ray Dalio has been a phenomenal inspiration for me. Jim Collins, the kind of work he's done for humanity is unbelievable. Charlie Munger. These guys have not done anything different. They've just taken simple things and looked at the whole world from a very, very simple, fundamental outlook. So my family now believes that he's just going after his dreams, and it's best to just let him be.
Oh, I love that. That's great. And I guess the marriage market worked out good when they put you on sale.
Oh, I immediately got, but I didn't get married.
Okay.
I pushed it by, a lot of things. 2007 this happened. 2008 when I got engaged. I was running a partnership firm, and we got a good accounting contract to work from an American hedge fund. We hired people, every damn thing we did, and then Lehman Brothers collapsed.
Oh boy.
We had to shut shop. We had to pay salaries to people to not come to work for us. Wow. And my marriage was 1 month later.
Oh boy.
For the first time in life, I contemplated suicide that time.
Oh no.
But yes, there's always, if you survive, there's always a next day, right?
Absolutely. And so now wife, kids.
God's been really kind. Business in 3 countries, and we are expanding. And I couldn't have, more than anything, happy, and I can sense freedom, and most important thing, clarity in life.
Wow.
One thing what I was always searching for in life was clarity. And brother, when that hits you, the conviction you have is so different. Yeah.
Wow. Inspirational stuff. Diva, it's been a great chat. I cannot wait to see what happens next and how you change the world's view on taxes. Really, thank you very much for coming by.
Oh, thanks a lot, Joey. It's been wonderful knowing you and interacting with you. Thank you.
Awesome. That's Divakar Vijayasarathy, and that wraps up another episode of the Forbes Books Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to subscribe to automatically receive new episodes when they're dropped. And if you have a moment, a review on Apple or Spotify would be greatly appreciated. It would help more amazing entrepreneurs like you find the show. Let's connect on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Joe Pardavila. And please don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.